Welcome back to Chemistry 101. We're going to work now on talking about how we're going to best use the textbook for this course to increase and to maximize our understanding of the material. I want to talk a little bit about the textbook. The textbook can provide you with a different perspective on the material than you might receive from me in class or on the videos, and increase your understanding just by giving you that different perspective. If there's something that I don't explain in a way that works well with your learning style, maybe the textbook will. If there's something that the textbook doesn't explain in a way that works well with your learning style, maybe I will in the videos. So the textbook and the videos and the in-class time can supplement one another, complement one another. Each chapter of the textbook provides illustrations and graphs and tables that might bring some of the material to life in a little bit different way maybe than the videos do and the illustrations that I use there. Each chapter will also provide worked examples, problems, and problems for you to solve to increase your proficiency through practice. So I always strongly encourage students to work the problems that are at the ends of each chapter. And many of those problems are also the problems that are going to be on the online homework. There's going to be three types of content that you will find in the book. There's going to be things that I have covered, that I have discussed explicitly and given a lot of detail to in the videos or in class. There are going to be other places where you'll read through the textbook and notice that this is something that I mentioned, maybe in passing, maybe gave some brief detail to, but not full detail. And then the third kind of material that you'll find in the textbook is content I did not mention at all in video or in the class. The material I didn't mention at all isn't necessarily unimportant to science or to chemistry in specific, but it's less likely to be mentioned on a test or a quiz. So let's talk about these three types of content specifically. Content I covered explicitly in the videos. If the videos made good sense to you or if you feel proficient in those material, I wouldn't necessarily skip those sections of the chapter, but you can read through them in a skimming way. And what you're going to look for is make sure you notice any terms or any concepts or any words that are covered in the textbook that are either unfamiliar to you, because maybe then you're going to realize I didn't cover them in the lecture, or maybe they're unclear because you weren't sure you understood them in the lecture anyway. And so for the most part, you're going to be skimming these sections, and when you run across terms that are unclear or are unfamiliar, then those terms you're going to read and study carefully. You may refer to the glossary of the book. You may refer to a website that covers that term in a different way. And until you reach a point where you understand that term's full meaning and well enough that you can put it in your own words. Now, content that I've given more detail, that I've given some detail to, but not really covered in a lot of detail, these sections you're going to want to read a little bit more carefully. The concepts in those sections may be unfamiliar. I didn't leave them out because they're not important. I left them out because we have only a certain amount of time to cover the material that is necessary for Chemistry 101. And so some of that material that I cover briefly, that I don't give much detail to, I want you to fill in the blanks for. You'll need to connect that material to the material that we did cover in more significant detail. So it's going to be very helpful if you pay special attention to any figures, any pictures, any tables, any examples that the author has worked in the textbook. Make sure you understand how the author did those problems, why the author chose certain mathematical operations to use, certain formulas to use, and then find problems in the back of the chapter that are similar to the ones that the author worked, and work those problems on your own. See if you get the same answer that's in the back of the book. If you don't, catch up with a friend that's in your study group or catch up with me in office hours and we'll work through those problems in more detail. Now when you get to content I didn't mention at all, again, if the author wouldn't have put it in a textbook if it wasn't an important concept to science or to chemistry. So this material is important, but it's material that I don't intend to test you on. That doesn't mean you should leave it out of your mind. Some of this will help you make connections between the material that we're covering in the course and real world applications of that material. So reading and digesting this material is still a very good idea, and it may help you understand the material that we covered in detail in a clearer or deeper way so that you'll be able to apply it in more abstract type problems later on. So you don't have to study that material to get ready for tests in my class, but it's a good idea. It may help. It may make the difference between an A and a B student, A and an A minus student. I don't like to place a lot of emphasis on grades, but I know students do. My emphasis is on making you able to become the best scientist, the most educated science person that we can in the semester that we have together. And I think that spending time with the textbook, in addition to what you spend with me on videos, in addition to what you spend with me in class and in lab, in addition to what you spend working problems, is going to put you in that much better of a position to be able to answer and solve scientific problems.